Hello. This is your friendly neighborhood PsyOps agent. I'm not sure if I have enough time to finish this recording and reading. Now, the pun is intended. Think of time as a dimensionless duration that everything exists within, with dilation at one-dimensional. You know what? Let me start again. Take two. Think of time as a dimensionless duration that everything exists within, with dilation a one-dimensional outward motion with this duration as the only motion. The inward motion we detect as energy is a subset within space-time, and all energy moving outward from a point is what we detect as a single motion we call the present. One is a temporal entity, and like all numbers, dimensionless. Time does not run fast or slow. Think of space as the present. Our motion through space describes our own duration in the present. The faster I move through space, the present, the longer my duration through space-time, hence my clock ticks slower. Energy twisting and bending while interacting within itself makes its own duration intrinsic, or forms a field of temporal motion. We measure this motion as the outward force of gravity. Even the names given to energy define them. Potential, energy of the future. Kinetic, dynamic energy of the present. And annihilation, energy of the past. All of them together make up our present. I, the Avatar PsyOps agent, wish to interrupt briefly. I wear Superman shirts, potential, kinetic, and annihilation, generation, ordination, destruction. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, God the Father and the Holy Ghost. Generation, operation, destruction. Saradomin, Guthix, Zamorak. Blue, green, yellow, or red. And red, sorry. Blue, green, or yellow, and red. In one take, that's pretty dramatic. They're sounding, but just edit that, put it together, we can make it all sound cool. I can do a reread. Anyways, we're running out of time, and I don't have much space on this other device that I'm apparently recording on, so let us continue, or me. When this motion is intrinsic, we name it one, which is the only way we can separate time where it separates itself. With this in mind, the statement, two objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time, can be finished with, because all objects are separate parts of the same motion we measure as time. This field of time is our first concept of time as a circular motion, an atom, one object dilating in time as a whole, and starts our continuum with its creation. When a second clock is created, we begin to see things as relative. Our concept of zero motion begins. This creation of juxtaposition produces an inflating time between atoms which lead to our concept of relative length. We have to wait for the solar system to form and for the appearance of an observer to focus these ideas together as the present. The present we count as a second with a standard clock today, the same second that sets our passive observers Minkowski's reference frame. All of this within a duration determined by the local energy and because of dilation. Now think of our atomic clock. The hyperfine transitions present in the ground state of the cesium-133 isotope that we use to standardize a second is time dilating. Everything dilates. We can see this effect when an observer is changing his relative position in space-time. Objects getting bigger as each present moment is brought closer together and get smaller the further into the past they appear. Everything is emerging. from Big Bang till now. At the smallest scale, relative to now, it must still be emerging, repulsive, as a focal point stuck in the present. Every object is visible as a wormhole over time, but in the instant as a point of one. Color from a point, how our minds see photons, makes up our visible universe. Every single ponderable entity is its own clock, keeping track of its own duration in its own present, because everything that exists in time occupies space, and we can only detect the interactions or duration between these spaces, juxtapositions of time. The motion of time is dilation, and it is the duration of all our static presents, or present, that are dilating. We only receive signals from the outside of objects. On Planck's scale, time is the smallest common denominator, and even with time being so compact and without measuring it directly, we do detect where its motion masses in one form or another. Time is the smallest common denominator on Planck's relative scale, and it is the juxtaposition of an expanding field of time we call a photon. That is its single quanta. Time is also the largest common denominator, with everything that exists being nothing more than a subset of this one-dimensional outward motion that we visualize with our